What's up, Metalheads? Today's video is a special request about some Gauss rods that I did recently for some Necrons. To start, I primed them black while on sprue, and the color that I used on them is Turbo Dork Metallic in Radium. To check out our other tutorials, be sure to subscribe, hit the bell also so that you can know when we come up with other videos as well. We try to come out with videos weekly. If you go on turbodork.com and use discount code Metalhead Minis, all one word, you get 20% off of your first order. So be sure to tell your family when you put some Turbo Dork on your wish list. Or maybe even buy them for yourself. We ain't here to judge, right? Anyway, so on this video, I show you another look at the bottle. Basically, what Radium is, it's a color shift paint sort of that is a gold that shifts to a metallic olive green. This color was chosen at the request of the client, which turned out to be a really super good idea. So good on Joe there. Now the hose part of the weapon, and forgive me, I don't know the technical term of it as it pertains to Necrons. I'm bad with names on some of these things, but we'll just call it the hose on the gun there, was primed in Stynylrez primer, which is made by Badger in black, and that had the color Radium painted over it as well. I start off by painting the weapons, and I worked on them 4 at a time because each sprue of the Gauss rods come 4 at a time. But also too, when it comes to painting armies and large units and such, I tend to find that working on a handful at a time is usually good because it breaks up the monotony. At least for me it does. Everyone's different, but at least for me that's my experience. Now what you're seeing here is I'm taking hobby clippers and I'm cutting as close as I can to the Gauss rod itself off of the sprue to keep it as clean as possible. Now when it comes to doing this step of the process, you don't want to rush through it. You want to make sure that you have good lighting. And you also want to make sure that you have a good set of hobby clippers. You don't want to do this with old, dull hobby clippers because then the cut won't be as good. And it definitely won't be as clean, so you definitely want to be sure about that. You want to take off any nubs that there might be. You want to be careful not to accidentally clip some paint off, clip off a wrong piece, things like that. So basically what you see me do as I go along is I kind of double check myself, clean up any extra that needs to be cleaned off, tiny bits at a time. Now what I'm doing is I'm taking some tools out of the way before I do this next step, so hence the pause. So in the next step what I'm doing is I'm taking the Gauss rod, and what I'm doing is I'm basically it's a mix of dry fitting and snapping the Gauss rod into place on the weapon. You see me take the front part of the weapon and I'm gently pulling it forward in order for the piece to snap in. You don't want to rush this part of the process either. You want to be gentle and take your time, because if you go too fast, you can snap these pieces apart. Especially if you end up getting pieces that are like fine cast or something. Now mind you, these aren't fine cast, these are regular GW plastic, but just in case so that you know, some of these pieces can be delicate, so you don't want to mess with it. Sometimes you got to do a little moving around and adjusting. kind of double check myself, make sure everything's in place the way it should be. And then I get my plastic glue. Now when it comes to plastic glue, I think it's important that I touch on this because I've seen people make the mistake quite a bit. Plastic glue is very thin. So when you take it out of the bottle and you have it go through that little metal piece there, you don't want to squeeze too hard at all. You need to be really gentle because that stuff comes out pretty fast, and you only need a little bit. A little bit goes a long way. You just do a little drop on each side. That's all you need to do. And also, since it's clear, it just kind of seeps right in, so that makes it easy too. Another thing that people commonly ask me about when it comes to working on army models is about how I paint the bases. So I figured I'd take a moment to share that with you as well. Basically, what you see me doing here is I use a size 2 brush typically. Sometimes it'll be a size 3, but in this particular example, that's a size 2 Raphael 8404. And you see that I use more the side of the brush than the tip. And the color paint that I am using is Stynylrez primer. It's made by Badger in black. And I also mix in with it Vallejo matte varnish. And I've never had any sort of experiences with it where the paint came off quickly or anything. Actually, when I do this mix, somehow it stays on really well. So I figured it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? And this is also, if you go on USAairbrushsupply.com, which is where you can purchase Badger products, you can also use the code Metalhead Minis as well. Same code that I showed you for Turbo Dork, and that gives you 10% off your order as well. The only time it doesn't work is when there's like a big sale going on. But yep, that's our tutorial about how we went about doing those Gauss rods and a little bit about how we do the bases for the armies and such. Really hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Please be sure to subscribe and check us out online as well, metalheadminis.com. We hope that you have a great start to your holiday season, and thank you guys so very much for watching today.